Okay, I would like to call this Thursday, October 17th. It is on. Thursday, October 17th, meeting to order, please. I'd like to have Pastor Chris Watlett to come forward for the invocation, please.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you for your goodness and your grace. Thank you for your provision and your protection, Lord. And as we gather in this place tonight, there are some in this room, Lord God, that you've placed in a position of authority to help govern and oversee the lives and the welfare of the people that live in this county. So we ask, Lord God, for your wisdom and your guidance, your understanding, Lord, when it comes to whatever decisions that are made tonight that will have an effect on those people, Lord. We just thank you for your peace. We thank you, Lord, that you're with us. And we ask that your hand would just rest upon us tonight, Lord, and that all things would be done decently and in order as the Scripture instructs us. We just ask you, Father, for your will to be done in this place tonight. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you. Now I'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Tim Schaefer. Okay, if we could have roll call, please, Christy.
Carly. Weller.
Here.
Ambrose. Here. Mays.
Here.
Lovell.
Here.
Fittstem.
Here.
Blackard.
Here.
Herring.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Killian.
Present.
Wilkie.
Here.
Kirkton. Vietti.
Here.
Bunning.
Present.
Flagel. Manker.
Here.
Steichen.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Bannon.
Here.
Kestner.
Here.
Ritter.
Here.
Arbogast.
Here.
Allen.
Okay, you have the agenda before you. Do you have anyone have additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I make a motion. Motion by Lovell, second by Weller. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay. And then you have the approval of minutes. We have two sets, August 15th and September 12th. Blackard?
Second.
Wilkie, second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay. Now we're down to nomination and election of permanent chair. I will call for nominations from the floor for a new chairman.
I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any further nominations?
Move nominations be closed. Second.
Second by Bannon. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries with all ayes. There being no further nominations, Kathy Arbogast is duly elected chairperson. I'm sorry?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Could
Okay,
feel the
roll call.
power, couldn't you?
Okay, roll call, please.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fittstem.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Vietti.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Steichen. Schaefer.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Kestner. Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
and Allen.
Yes.
Okay. Now we will open the floor for nominations for a new vice chairman.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to nominate Jason Bunning for vice chair.
Okay, Schaefer?
Madam
Is there a
Chairman,
second?
I'd like to second that.
I'm sorry, who was that? Oh, Gerald Ehring? Okay, second.
Madam
Schaefer
Chairman,
and Aaron.
I'd like to nominate Mark Runyon.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Who's second? Mays? Okay.
And Mays.
Madam Chairman, I move nominations be closed. Second.
All right.
Who's the second? Who seconded that?
Fannin?
Shannon, okay.
Okay, this will be a roll call.
No,
Four.
We'll vote on closing.
Okay, sorry. All in favor of closing the nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
Okay, that was Bunning. And Runyon. Okay. When I call your name, if you'll voice who you're voting for, please. Weller?
Arbogast. Excuse me, Bunning.
We've already done that one.
Yeah, we did that.
We did
Bunning.
that already. Okay. Ambrose?
Runyon.
Mays?
Runyon.
Lovell?
Bunning.
Fitstum?
Runyon.
Blackard?
Runyon.
Herring?
Bunting.
Runyon?
Runyon.
What do you say? Killian?
Bunting.
Wilkie?
Bunting.
Vieti?
Bunting.
Bunting?
Bunting.
Slagle? Manker?
Runyon.
Oh, is he back?
Slagle's back, sorry.
Oh, he snuck in on me. John Slagle?
Runyon.
Manker?
Runyon.
Dyson? Schaefer? Fannin?
Bunting.
Kestner?
It's a hard decision. I like them both, and they both would do well. I'm going to vote for Mr. Runyon.
Ritter?
Bunting.
Arbogast?
Bunting.
Allen?
Bunting.
Thirteen for Bunting. For Runyon. 13 for Bunting and 8 for Runyon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, now, I have some remarks that I would like to say that I have written here. First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your support in selecting me as your chairperson. This is a great honor that I do not take lightly. Over the last weeks, I have spent a great deal of time speaking with you individually about our future together and what that should look like. I've heard this board referred to as dysfunctional, disrespectful, and in disarray, but that ends today. I want to take just a minute to review our values. These are the values that we expect each of our employees to embrace, but we must set the standard. Our citizens expect an ethical, professional, and approachable board who provides good stewardship of its resources and collaborates for the betterment of our community. Board members are expected to present a clean, neat, and tasteful appearance when representing the county. We must exemplify these characteristics and work together to make sure these standards are met, holding ourselves and each other accountable when we fall short. We must trust in our process and the structure that has been created. We work as a group through a committee system. No individual on this board has the authority to act on behalf of the board without the authority being expressly granted. So I ask each of you to respect our process and work together. Do not go out on your own. There's no doubt that there will be controversial items that will require tough decisions. I ask that we respect each other's opinions and treat each other the way we like to be treated ourselves, even when we don't agree. Be respectful of one another, our managers, our elected officials, our employees, and our citizens. I look forward to what our future will look like when we do so. Thank you. Okay, now down to the board appointment to fill District 2 vacancy. I have selected Joel Barrickman for the District 2 vacancy seat, so I need a motion to approve.
I will make it.
I'll second that.
Jason, Ritter, second. Roll call, please.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Fitztham,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Vieti,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Banker,
Yes.
Dyson,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Kestner, Ritter, Arbogast,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, Joel, if you could come forward, Christie's going to swear you in.
Testing. I, Joel Barrickman,
I, Joel Barrickman,
having been appointed
having been appointed
to fill an unexpired vacancy
to fill an unexpired vacancy
in the office
in the office
of District 2 County Board Member
of District 2 County Board Member
on October 17th, 2019,
on October 17th, 2019,
in and for the County of Livingston
and for the County of Livingston
and State of Illinois,
and State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of County Board Member
of County Board Member
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay, now we can move down to the consent agenda. Approval of bills, appointment Kip Harms, Northeast Sullivan, Mona Drainage District.
Motion to approve?
Fannin? Second, Blackard. Okay, roll call, please.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yeah.
Lovell,
Yes.
Fitztham,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Kirkton, Vieti,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen, Schaefer,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
Barrickman,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, before we go into the action agenda and committee reports, we are going to be following the Roberts rules during discussion. Everyone can talk once. After everyone has had a chance to talk, then a second time will be at the discretion of the chair. So with that, I will call on Mr. Steve Lovell for Highway Committee.
We've got two items that are action items. One's a resolution for the extension of the temporary amendment Exhibit A, Resolution Number 2016-11-65. It's providing for the collection of fees for oversized and overweight vehicles. It's been in effect for 2 years, and we need to renew it for 1 more year. And then also, the other action item is the quarterly report for third quarter for fiscal year 2019. So those are the 2 items that I make a motion that we accept.
Second.
Second by Runyon. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
And this will be for both items with 1 roll call.
Yes.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Fitstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Fieri,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen, Schaefer,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
Barrickman, Allen.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're down to Agricultural, Ag and Zoning Committee. Jason Bunting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Chuck is making his way towards the podium here, we've got one action item to bring forth to you tonight. It's for the cannabis regulations. As many of you know, come January 1st, 2020, the state legislature has made cannabis legal. So we have to start the discussions on what we're going to do. So Chuck, you have the floor.
Okay, what we're proposing tonight is for the county board to consider a zoning text amendment or amendments to the zoning regulations to address the state has created with House Bill 1438, which is a very complex legislation for the cannabis. It's over 600 pages long. And this has kind of been discussed with the committee over the last couple of months. And one of the proposals I brought before them was to consider special uses in regards to the zoning issues with that. The reason for doing it as special uses is primarily because you get into public hearing processes in regards to them. So it's something that would be reviewed by the Planning Commission. The public hearings will be held by the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I'm also proposing in the procedures of the special use that, like wind energy and solar energy, the county board will be making the final decisions in regards to these regulations. These are just in regards to the unincorporated area of Livingston County, so this does not include the larger towns that have their own zoning as far as Pontiac, Fairbury, Dwight. It does include all of the agricultural area. It does include some of the smaller towns that do not have their own zoning, such as Sonoma and Long Point. Part of the state regulations has a lot of factors built into it, but one of being setbacks, where the businesses can't be located within 1,000 feet of schools or parks or playgrounds. So if you look at some of the areas in which the zoning would allow for that, I'll get that in a minute, or the zoning would allow for that, such as Sonoma, with their location of their school and their parks, they're probably within 1,000 feet of all their commercial and industrial zoned areas, so it probably wouldn't happen. Same as Long Point. But nonetheless, since the state has created this legislation, it's something we have to deal with, and this is where we're going to deal with it. One quick remark is that the stated part of the legislation limits the numbers of licenses that are going to be issued in regards to these. So there is a possibility that nothing would be developed in Livingston County, but nonetheless, we have to be prepared for it. An example is we're part of the West Central Illinois District, which will have 3 licenses initially for the dispensing issues with that. The medical marijuana licensing has priority in doing that, so one of the licenses, I believe, has already been approved for the medical in Canton. And I believe there's a second one that says medical that has not been approved for recreational. I think that's in Quincy. West Central, it's kind of an odd configuration the way they did it. It's Livingston County, and it goes down to Logan, and the Peoria is a separate one, and Bloomington is kind of a separate one. They do the big town separate, and they just lump everything else together in a large area in regards to that, but that's what it is. What the proposal is, it's going to be a set of, it's basically divided into 3 parts as far as the zoning text is concerned. The first part is creating some additional definitions. The definitions that are being proposed are taken out of the legislation and taken out of a model municipal ordinance that we do with it. It seemed to be the best in how it worded the issues that we're looking for. And since it was already done, I didn't really want to go back and duplicate it since it got into detail. What it does is it lists everything that's involved in it. So it's kind of an involved text amendment because it includes a cannabis craft grower and cannabis cultivation centers. These would be special uses within an agricultural district. The difference in them is that one can be a smaller facility compared to the other one. A craft grower is a relatively small grower. A cultivation center is a large greenhouse grower. And then it goes into cannabis dispensing organizations, cannabis infuser organizations, cannabis processing and transporting. So what the proposal is considering that in the ag district, you could have the craft growing and the cannabis cultivation. Those 2 would be proposed as special use, in addition to the adult use processing and transporting, because once you grow it, to take it out of that building to go someplace else, there's some sort of processing going to take place. And it can come in many different forms. So I didn't want to neglect that as far as a special use because it's going to be processed in some way, shape, or form. And that's going to be proposed both in the agricultural districts, and it's also going to come up in the manufacturing or industrial districts also. In our 3 business districts, which is C1, C2, C3, we're proposing special uses for the adult use dispensing, the infuser, the processing and transporting organization. So this is basically, you have the product and you may change that product when it comes in. You can put it into edibles or whatever the case may be, and you're going to dispense it, you're going to sell it. You're going to get a dispensing license in order to sell this. So that's where it's going to be in the business ones. And then in the industrial ones, it's basically everything together. It's going to be the growing, cultivation, the dispensing, infusing, processing, and transporting. And that since we have very few industrial areas, number one, it's under our jurisdiction, but they are there. But the possibility of doing all those in that one area is a possibility. So I'm proposing to include all those as potential special uses in regards to that. So that's how we're looking at this. A lot of different towns, some counties are handling this different. You know, you may read, there's a lot of articles been in the media about this. Some places are opting out. Opting out doesn't prevent you from buying marijuana someplace else, coming back into Livingston County and smoking it in your own home, so it's not preventing it from being in the county or to being used. I realize there's a lot of issues with it in regards to law enforcement concerns and legal matters, but it's legislation that's there that we have to deal with, so this is my proposal how to deal with it. So basically what I'm asking you tonight is to take the proposed zoning text that you have before you, authorize the county board chair to sign it, which would trigger a notice from my office to create a notice or prepare a notice that would have the proposed changes in it, and then it'd start proceeding through the hearing process where it'd go through the planning commission, the zoning board, then eventually back to the ag and zoning committee and the county board to do that. So this can be a timely thing. Just concerning the time of year, this probably isn't going to be done by December, but hopefully we can get it done in January. It'd be an ideal situation. Questions?
Questions for
Simple
Chuck
way
or myself?
Way to explain it, I guess.
Questions? I will move it, Madam Chair.
Yeah, second?
I'll second that.
Ritter? Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Slagle?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to say, I think you did a good job on this. I like how you set it up. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks to the committee for listening to me and guiding me through it too. That helps.
Okay, if no other discussion, roll call, please. Christie?
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Pittston,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Kirkton, Vietti,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yeah.
Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
Barrickman,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We have one information item for you. After speaking with the village administrator up in Dwight, we are hoping to do our electronic recycling up there, just around at the Public Works is our plans. Hoping for the 2nd of November. If that date does not work with the company, we're going to try October 26th. So Chuck has reached out to the company. We are planning on 2 trailers, I believe, and we're just going to get confirmation from them, so stay close, and we'll have more information as it comes available. What's that? Which company is it, Chuck?
We're part of the state electronic recycling clearinghouse, and they actually assign companies to you. The company they were using is called Dynamic, is the one we're working directly with. I think they're subcontracted out of a larger one, but they're an extremely large company that deals with, yes, but it's called Dynamic. I think they're out of Wisconsin, they're just across the border in Wisconsin.
That's all I have.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
I would like to also throw this out to the members of our board, knowing that we, the last time, number of board members were there, the amount of work that took place to make sure that that happened, had they not been there, and it was extensive at that, would have been a lot worse. And so I would like to put a call out to the board members, including myself, who will try to be there as well, to be there to help and be on hand, even if it's as much as getting the cars in the right line, which they don't like to do for some reason, or maybe running a fork truck to kind of keep us on schedule. So I think it's one of those all hands on deck, and hopefully we've purged the system by now with the Pontiac High School event, but I'm not convinced, because I think there'll be people who take advantage of it. So again, I think the board members who are there would all agree that all hands on deck is more than appreciated. So with that, I would like to say thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Anybody interested in helping? Get a hold of Mr. Ritter. And he will provide lunch.
Pfaff donuts, I think, are in order.
That's not lunch.
Mr. Ritter, what time does it start?
Chuck, help me.
Linda, we're hoping to do it from 9 to 1.
9 to 1.
So every
8. Yeah.
everything is contingent on confirmation with the company.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We'll move down to Sheriff Jail License Committee. I'll be giving that report. Resolution on amending animal control ordinance. Tom Hardiman has spoke with State's Attorney Randy Yednak about the collars for cats that will be removed from the ordinance. So, really, that's all that's about. If anybody has any questions on that, comments? If not, I'll make a motion that we approve. Linda, second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Pittston,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Kirkton, Vietti.
Yeah.
Get that in my head. Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Dyson. Schaefer.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
And Allen.
Yes.
Okay, just other discussion, talked about the spay and neuter program, Operation Safe, and possible use of a mobile vet unit. Other than that, that ends the report. So, next we have, the Finance Committee, Mr. Tim Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. To begin with, it's that time of year where the culmination of the work of Diane, Alina, all our department heads, and other folks, that the fiscal 2019-20 budget is ready for submission to be put on display, so to speak, both electronically and physically, until our next board meeting, where at that time we will hopefully, unchanged perhaps, endorse it for the following year. So with that, Diane, do you want to make any remarks about that?
Okay, most of you have the budget sitting in front of you, and it got sent out earlier this week. I just want to let you know that if you did print the copy out that we sent in the email, there is a change in the transmittal letter. There was a number that was not correct, which I didn't even find until today. So, but we did the letter again, so the copy that was sitting on where you're sitting now, it is correct. Okay. Our budget was put together this year with the same goals in mind that we had for last year. It was to maintain or reduce the current county tax rate, and also to reduce the general fund deficit. As you can see from the levy worksheet on page 57 of the budget, our county tax rate has decreased consistently over the past 5 years. The rate for fiscal year 2020 is 1.15029, and the rate in last year's budget was 1.17068. The other goal was to reduce the general fund deficit by $800,000 over 3 years. This is the final year in that effort. The fiscal year 2020 goal was for the functional deficit not to exceed $1.2 million. We were able to meet the goal again this year, coming in with a deficit of $1,193,359. In the capital budget section of this 2020 budget, page 200 shows the specific amounts that are tied up in this cap. There were approved capital requests for $425,897. There's a transfer to the vehicle fund for $409,100, and the transfer to the general fund of $358,362 for the total of $1,193,359. Last year, the approved capital requests were $479,518. There was a transfer to the vehicle fund last year, and then also the transfer to the general fund. And the total last year was $1,390,002, so we reduced that by not quite $200,000. The other item added to the budget this year in regard to goals was a short-term goal that was established in 2018 to identify and evaluate discretionary programs. A report was developed this year, and it was based on anticipated fiscal year 2019 expenses, and that discretionary program report is included as attachment B in the transmittal letter, which is on pages 11 through 13. The other thing I want to touch on is the summaries that are in this year's budget. They're located on pages 47 through 55. It highlights revenues and expenses across all funds and then in the general fund. The revenues and expenses across all funds are on pages 48 and 49, and they're listed by fund, and then also they're separate revenue and expenses by type. So it'll list revenues by what type of expense it is, or what type of revenue it is, and then expenses by what type of expense it is. Our revenues across all funds, less transfers, were $24,958,587. That's a 2.4% increase over fiscal year 19. And our expenditures across all funds, less transfers, is $33,493,450. That was a 2.3% increase over fiscal year 19. This year, our expenditures exceed revenues by approximately $8.5 million. This difference is attributed to the following. There is $5 million budgeted for the construction of the new H&E building, should the board decide to proceed with construction. There's approximately $900,000 in carryover expenses, which are expenses that were budgeted in 19 but not yet expended. Approximately $2.4 million across county highway funds. Those were also things that were expended or budgeted in the previous year and were not expended in 2019. And then approximately $1.1 million previously committed and dedicated to the GLC EDC to support economic development initiatives for the county. Essentially, we are almost exactly where we were in fiscal year 19 when we did the budget last year. Those were almost the exact same deficit. The expenses over revenue last year was approximately $8.4 million. It was the same thing, $5 million for the H&E building, carryover expenses for capital things that were not expensed in 2018, and also a shortfall for the highway department for equipment purchases, and the economic development initiatives. Revenue and expenses in the general fund are contained in the budget summaries on pages 53 to 55, and these are listed by department. Revenues in the general fund have increased by approximately $700,000. That's 6.4% over fiscal year 19. The increase is attributed to the federal inmate program, which is about $300,000. There's state of Illinois grants and aid for probation, which increased for next year for $125,000. The property tax increase was approximately $140,000, and then smaller increases in PPRT tax and other fees and charges for services. The expenses in the general fund have increased approximately $460,000, which is a 3.9% increase over fiscal year 19. And this is attributed to salary increases, and that's overall for everyone, an increase in our contingency, an increase in the jail budget due to personnel costs and inmate medical costs, and lastly, there's an increase to personnel costs in the county miscellaneous department to account for retirements that will be happening in the sheriff's department next year. The ending fund balances for all funds are shown on page 50, and overall, you can see that the county's fund balances really are strong. The drop in total fund balance is to be expected based on what I've said about the expenses being over our revenues for this 2020 budget. Lastly, in an effort to follow the criteria set by the Government Finance Officers Association for their Distinguished Budget Award, a few documents have been added to the budget this year. On page 39, there's a chart that shows the relationship between department and fund. It shows how the funds are grouped, major, non-major, fiduciary. It's just something that they said is needed, and so you can see the relationship between the departments and what they are actually responsible for. On page 47, there's a summary of these groupings that shows fiscal year 18 actuals, the fiscal year 19 estimated amounts, and the fiscal year 20 budget. And then at the end of the budget, there's a glossary. I'd really like to thank Alina and Ginger both for helping. And I know that all of us have worked really hard to achieve the goals that were set forth. And we are pleased to present the fiscal year 2020 budget.
Questions for Diane? Thank you. Well done. With that, I'd like to motion that we submit this to be hopefully approved next month.
And here's a second. Earring? Any discussion?
To be put on display. And to be put on display.
Yeah. And it will be put on display, yes. Okay, hearing none, no discussion. Roll call, please. Christie?
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Fitstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Piety,
Yes.
Bunny,
Yes.
Flagel,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Kestner, Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, next we come to the Vanguard appraisal proposal for commercial industrial properties in the county. This has been, Shelley, you want to, my gosh, she's ready to talk. We'll let her talk. Thank you.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, this is just as by background, this is something that's been under consideration for most of the last, certainly the last two, probably the last 3 years. It's not something that was new this year. It is an effort to manage the complexities that are associated with commercial industrial properties that aren't quite the same as they are in residential properties. And she developed this as a proposal to manage that at what initially would seem like it is undeniably a significant cost, but the alternatives are significantly costlier. So go ahead.
Before you have the proposed contract from the Vanguard Appraisals. After looking into our commercial and industrial properties, it was very apparent to me that there was inequities. When reviewing the sales statistics from the past 3.5 years, the sales data shows that our PRD, which is a price-related differential, is 1.87. The PRD measures inequities and looks for patterns in that. The recommended range is The recommended range is between 0.98 and 1.03, so you can see that our numbers are very out of line. Statutorily, we are to value all properties except farmland at 33 1/3% of market value. It is my concern that we are not doing that with our commercial and industrial properties. After reviewing several different options and discussing those at length, to try to figure out how we are going to remedy this issue, it's my recommendation to the board that we contract with Vanguard Appraisals to come and do a complete reassessment of these classes of properties. Vanguard is a reputable company. They've been in business for over 50 years. We have been doing business with them personally, or in our office in the county, for over 20. They are our CAMA software vendor. And they do this type of work all over the Midwest. All properties are reviewed in 1 year. Therefore, one property class would not be singled out, as has been the concern of the grain elevators. So they would all be done at the same time. They would all be done in a quadrennial reassessment year. That way there's nobody that's behind. Currently we have about 1,221 commercial industrial properties. This is apart from the grain elevators, and 404 unimproved commercial industrial lots. Vanguard would begin the work in the fall of 2022 and would complete their work in time to send out notices for the 2023 assessment year. The proposed cost of this project is based on a parcel count, amounting at about $521,000. This would include 60 hours of time for them to send a representative to our county if we need them to go through board of review hearings and that type of thing. The total cost will be budgeted out as a capital cost and spread out over the next 3 years, but we wouldn't pay them until the project was completed. In the next 4 years, going forward, it will be my plan to devise a plan to present to you on how to address these issues going forward. After Vanguard is done, we need to have a plan in place on how we're going to keep this going so that this doesn't happen again. We've already started with working with Chuck and the zoning department, putting in a better software to help with the permitting and how that is reported to our office so we can get data quicker. But there's other work that needs to be done to find all the holes so that we can fix this going forward. I respectfully request that you approve the contract by Vanguard.
Well, I listened to it, considered it, and there's no perfect solution to this. Of the solutions that's presented, it's closer to being right than others, to my satisfaction. I'd motion we approve the agreement.
I second.
Is there a second? I'm sorry, who seconded it? Wilkie? Okay, discussion? Joel?
First of all, my first opportunity to address the board, I want to thank Chairman Arbogast for the appointment, and I appreciate the confidence of the board with the unanimous consent to appoint me to this position. I look forward to getting to know all of you and doing my best to serve our constituents here in Livingston County to the best of my ability. So, that being said, you know, I'm new here, and I'm trying to catch up as fast as I can. Last week, I made an effort to attend as many committee meetings as possible to try to catch myself up. And admittedly, you know, it's tough. I'm a farmer, it's harvest season, and I've done my best to try to read and talk to people and get a grip for what's going on here. Specifically regarding this proposal, I have heard that it's a little bit of a hot topic going in this meeting. And I've also heard from some constituents that are concerned about it, as well as, you know, it was mentioned the grain elevators, who, you know, I'm very much acquainted with. And there's a number of concerns, one of which, the first one I want to bring up, is the timing of what's going on here. From what I read, reading the state statute, these assessments have to be done in the year of the quadrennial, which is 2022 to 2023, correct?
We're in a quad year right now, 19. Our next one
Right.
will be in 23.
Right. And so I find it difficult that Vanguard is telling us that here, 3 years almost before they're gonna hit the ground and actually do these physical appraisals, that, you know, they're telling us they're so busy that we need to sign a contract with them 3 years ahead. You know, I'm in business. If I was in a business that was in that much demand, I'd be working very hard to staff up and capture that demand in a timely manner and not tell people that, you know, you got to sign with me now, make them feel under pressure in order to get them under contract to do something 3 years from now. I would never do that as a private business owner. And so that, along with the price, really give me some concern. You know, I understand that it's been said that, you know, we've used Vanguard previously, they manage our software, but those aren't particularly compelling arguments to me that we shouldn't, you know, think twice about this and examine what other options there might be that might be lower cost. And again, some of this may have already been covered. I'm new here, but, you know, it has not been explained to me whether or not we've gotten proposals from other companies that could do this at potentially lesser cost. And then finally, moving forward, if we were to do this, as you said, we got to have a plan. And it's difficult for me to sit here as a new member of the board and say, yes, I'll approve this with the plan to make a plan for the future. I've read the state statute. I spent a significant amount of time today preparing for this meeting and reading it. And there are provisions in there for us to make this easier on ourselves moving forward. The way it is right now, it sounds like all of these properties have to be physically inspected the year of the quadrennial, which is this year and then 4 years from now. The state statute does allow for us to set up a system where we can break the county up into 4 districts and do this as a revolving cyclical plan to do a quarter of the county every year. That to me sounds like a good solution moving forward, but it's difficult for me to just say, okay, I'll agree that we have a plan for a plan and sign and vote for a contract to pay $500 and some thousand to a company that's not going to put boots on the ground and actually do this work until 3 years from now. Those are my concerns, and you know, from my perspective here, just showing up, I'm very worried about it, and I would make a motion to table this for now until those questions are answered.
We do have a motion on the floor, and a second.
I'll second it.
No,
It's
we
already
already have
It's
a
already been
motion.
made.
Ron?
I was just had my hand up too. Joel talked about. I Joe, you did a wonderful job explaining that. That's the same thoughts that I've had, and I concur with what you presented. So, very glad to hear that. Thank you.
Parliamentary inquiry. Is it a motion to table always in order?
So then is it that we have a motion to table and then we're looking for a second at this point?
I'll second it. Right here.
Okay. We will go with the table, to table it, vote. Is that a yes or no, or is that roll call? That's a roll call, okay.
Okay. Weller?
No.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Mays?
No.
Lovell?
No.
Bitston?
Yes.
Blackard?
No.
Herring?
No.
Runyon?
Yes.
Killian?
Yes.
Wilkie?
No.
Vietti?
No.
Bunning?
Yes.
Flagel?
Yes.
Manker?
Yes.
Dyson?
Yes.
Schaefer?
No.
Bannon?
Be here. Yes.
Kestner? Yes. Ritter?
Yes.
Arbogast?
No.
Berrickman?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
All right.
13 ayes and 9 nays.
Okay.
So it's been
I-
tabled.
So
So is
the
there any
ayes get it to
proposals
table?
to the assessor?
Hold on, Shelley.
Is there any proposals to the assessor to manage this then? Okay, you've tabled this. You're looking for alternatives. Anybody got a suggested alternatives to give her some direction? Or should we just keep blowing it off like we have?
Any suggestions from anybody on what to do next? Joe?
Madam Chairperson, I would suggest you send it back to committee. I believe that is the process.
Okay, we'll send it back to committee next month.
What is our timeline on this, Shelley? We've got to have the contract signed and back to them by December 15th. So more or less, it's going to be, our December meeting is when?
I don't have my phone.
It's December 12th.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they'd go.
Okay, Mr. Ritter?
Madam Chairperson, thank you very much. In the event that we don't make the December 12th deadline, what happens?
They cannot guarantee us our slot for 2023.
So they can't guarantee it, but it's not a no.
Originally, they were telling me that they could not get us on the schedule until 2024. I pushed pretty hard to get us on the schedule for 2023 as it's a quad, and I wanted it done in a quad year.
So the fact that we work with Vanguard, this is a same type of question, if you don't mind. So the fact that we've done work with Vanguard, there's got to be somebody else also in the event that it falls through out there that we can work with. Would that be correct?
It's very, very hard to find somebody who is
Okay.
Yeah, well, Mr. Weller?
Can I ask Shelley a question, even though it's been tabled? Shelley,
Yeah, I believe so.
did you not mention that we don't pay that bill until the process is all completed?
Correct.
Thank you.
But you're setting aside the money for 3 years, correct?
Right, so that we can prepare for it.
the balance is not due until the completion of the work.
Right, but so the county's not getting hit all at once, we're budgeting it out
Right.
to spread out
It
the
goes in
costs.
3 budgets.
3 years, yeah.
Thank you.
Shelley,
Any other? Mr. Ayring?
Shelley, as we talked at the meeting about this, we also talked about how they're gonna upgrade all of our computers. All the stuff's on card files in the basement right now. Is that correct? And we're gonna do all this on,
We have hard copy cards, old data cards that we have in our office that were archived that we keep. Yes, we have their software, they would enter all the data into our software so that it's all up to date and correct.
right, I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that's all gonna be upgraded computer
Yes.
stuff that's never been done, that we're that far behind the eight ball.
Yeah, they would enter the data, enter the sketches, enter the photos, they would have it all in the system for us.
Okay, thank you.
Madam?
Mr. Fannin?
If you've got questions on this, please talk to Shelley so you get your answers, please.
Yeah, my office is always open, feel free to stop in anytime and ask me questions.
Okay, any other discussion, questions, comments from anyone? Okay. I'll go back to committee next month. Thank you.
Okay, next we've got the Establishing County Retailers Occupation Tax. This is to handle cannabis sales in the county, is it not, Elena?
Yes.
And the tax rate which we are charged, and we're going to propose that we charge the maximum rate allowable by statute, which I believe is 3%.
For the county portion.
For the county portion.
Right, which is 0.75 in municipalities and 3.75 in unincorporated areas.
So I motion that resolution be approved. Doesn't mean we're saying set up shop. It does mean to say if you do, this is the tax rate.
I will
Second
second
by
that.
Bunting. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Pittston. Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes?
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Vieti.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay. Next two resolutions have to do with salaries. We have to establish the salaries before the primary these days, which was a great advance, great leap forward. And the two under consideration are the circuit clerk's salary and the coroner's salary for the next 4 years. The case of the coroner, can we do these in tandem? Or no? Okay, I would like to do that. For the coroner, current annual salary is $55,000. It would be raised in consecutive years, the annual rate additionally $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. And in both cases, the same with the circuit clerks would be raised $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. We've done this with our elected officials. They've been very congenial in that. It's not very imaginative. It is below the percentages that the people on the line get, so I think that's reasonable. And I would motion that we approve both those.
Second, Manker. Discussion? Anybody? Okay, roll call, please. Christie?
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Pittston. Blackard.
Yeah.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Vieti.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Berkman.
Yes.
And Allen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Tim. We move down to Personnel Committee, Mr. Jack Vietti.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to have Ginger come forward. We have two resolutions we need to take action on. First one is the perfect attendance incentive, and I'll let Ginger explain it to you. It was approved by our committee last Wednesday.
Good evening.
All yours.
Our perfect attendance incentive, we, as part of the strategic goals for fiscal year 2019, as well as fiscal year 2018, we put out there an opportunity for us to look at some different programs as incentives for our employees. In 2018, we did not get any incentives accomplished, so we put it back on the strategic goals for 2019. In looking at some of the different contracts and the different counties throughout Illinois, we came across a perfect attendance incentive that we began to review. I want you to know that we've looked at several different incentives, and it's kind of hard to give, you know, free parking space out here for your employee of the month kind of thing. So we wanted something that was going to be beneficial to both the county stay within the strategic goals, stay within the financial goals, as well as reward employees. So we came up with the perfect attendance incentive. I think you all have that in front of you. The idea is to reward those folks that come to work every day and do their job. We'll do it on an annual basis, and the compensation is a good incentive for a lot of people. We did put a few restrictions on there. The whole idea is for those folks who do not call in, that they come to work and they do their job accordingly. So instead of just putting in there if you call in sick, we put in if you call in for any purpose. The idea is that you are here. The incentive would be $250 on an annual basis. The managers would send the names to HR for the people who they feel would be eligible for this incentive. And then HR and payroll would verify that, excuse me, that those folks did not call in, did not have sick time, excuse me, per our payroll records. So I am asking that you consider this resolution so we can reward our employees for perfect attendance.
Thank you, Ginger. Is there any questions for Ginger?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, I have two of them.
Sure.
First, when would this start? Would this start retroactive back to the beginning of the year, or this would be starting the next year?
We have the funds budgeted for fiscal year 2020. So in January, the managers would send in their names for the calendar year of 2019. And then we would pay that bonus in January of 2020.
So it would be retroactive back?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing, one concern I got here on this is most of our, if not all of our employees work in an office type area where there are other people around. And if we start giving incentives out, someone could have like the flu and say, well, I want this incentive, so I'm gonna go to work sick and take the flu with them to work and then set up the entire office with the flu. And
We have thought of that. We do know that is a concern, that is a possibility. Our managers, I am praying, are going to help diffuse that and ask that employee to go home. Encourage the employees not to come to work sick. But we have several employees that are here day after day after day after day. And if they are sick, they do call and say, I am not coming in because of an illness. We want something that's going to reward those folks that go above and beyond. The people that I have on the list right now of those who would be eligible for 2018 are people who come to work day after day after day. So yes, I do recognize your concern.
Second.
Okay.
Yes, Joel?
Is there a standard number of sick days that the employees get? Has that already been mentioned?
There is a standard number of sick days. It equals out to be 1 day per month that you can accrue. The way that sick time works for the county, there is not a limit of the amount of time that you can accrue, unless you are a sheriff's deputy, and that's per contract. Once you have, if you leave, you do not get to take your sick time with you. You do not get to be paid out for your sick time. If you retire, then per IMRF regulations, you can roll 240 sick days into service credit. That is the max. And then IMRF applies those 240 days as part of their formula to determine how much your retirement per month will be. Anything over, and this is, Joel, this is part of our personnel policy, anything over that 240 days up to 360 days can be paid out, but it's paid out at the rate that you have, when you're leaving. It's not part of IMRF. So it's paid out 90 days post your retirement. This is all contingent on retirement. That's the only way that your sick time becomes credited to either your retirement or in pay, unless you are a sheriff's deputy, and that's per contract.
So, again, I'm new here figuring this
That's
out.
fine.
Did this come up because there has been an overall feeling that sick time has been abused, or is this just, something that has percolated through the system and people, maybe other counties are doing this and it seems like a good way to encourage
Yeah.
good attendance?
At this point, we do not have any idea of sick time being abused. We are looking at a way to incentivize those who are going above and beyond what the norm is. And those folks are the folks who are not calling in. When you earn a day a month, there are people within the employment that are using a day a month. And, that's vacation, that's sick time, that's their prerogative. They've earned it, they can use it. But we want to reward those folks who do not put the department at behind the 8 ball, with a consistent call-in.
Any other questions, discussion? Bob?
Ginger, they can accrue up to 240 hours, and that is rolled into their IMRF formula as time served, correct?
240 days.
Or 240 days?
Yes.
So the difference between the 240 days and the 360 days that you mentioned, that extra 120 days,
Correct.
they actually can cash out for money
If they retire.
if they're at retirement.
At retirement, if they
But-
retire.
But did you say they get to cash out at their current rate? Maybe they earned that 10 years ago
That is correct.
at $15 an hour, and now they're cashing it out at 22.
That's correct.
And I thought we were trying to do away with that.
Currently, that's part of our personnel policy, and that does follow the IMRF regulations that, as part of retirement.
So
That's where we got the language.
We're still stuck with them earning it here at this level, but cashing out at this level.
Yes, but be aware, if you are at 240 days of sick time, I think that equates to like 25 years of never taking a sick day. 20 years. Thank you, Joe.
Do we have any now that are at that?
We did have several over the past 4 or 5 years. Most of those were management, and that's the reason why the board voted to do the payout past the 240 up to the 360, 90 days past retirement date, because it was giving us an accelerated payment through IMRF.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, if not, I make the motion to approve.
Second. Blackard, second. This is a voice vote, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay.
Okay. Don't go away, Ginger. We have the next one coming up, the Personnel Policy Amendment.
So the reason why we want to do personnel policy amendments, two of the reasons stem from the way that our computer system, our payroll software system, accrues the vacation and sick time. We moved the accruals from our timekeeping system to the payroll system 2 years ago. And the reason that we moved that is people who are not on the time clock, we're keeping manual accounts, spreadsheet accounts of their vacation and sick time that they were taking and accruing. So we wanted to move it to a more automated system, and everyone gets a paycheck. So if we moved it to the payroll system, away from the timekeeping system, then all of the vacation and sick time would be held within that payroll system. We originally thought that the system would take your annual number of hours, so someone who is within the first 7 years of their employment earns 1 day per month. So a 7.5-hour person earns 90 hours per year. So we took the 90 hours per year, divided it by 26 payrolls, and hard-coded that number in our personnel manual. The system does not calculate it just quite that way. It takes the 90 hours divided by 365 days, number of days in the year, to give us an annual rate, and that annual rate then is calculated times 14 for the pay period amount. It does not equate exactly the same. So we want to change the personnel policy, take the hard-coded number out, put the formula in, so we are accurate with our current payroll system and our current accrual system. So that's the first two items, the vacation and the sick leave. The last item deals with our employee rep committee. Currently, our employee rep committee meets on a quarterly basis, and we want to put the language into our employee committees to be more accurate with what our personnel manuals indicates our employee committees will be. So that's the change for the employee committee section.
No questions? So moved.
Hey.
Oh, go ahead.
Is there your motion, did you vote? You moved it, a second?
Second.
Second by Fannin. This is also a voice vote. All in favor by signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ginger, and that's on my report, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vietti. Down to Public Property Committee, Mr. Patrick Killian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. October 7th, we had a meeting, and we had a full house. Vitsum, Allen, Ambrose, Kirkton, Runyon, and Weller showed up. Thank you very much for everybody attending. We also had, Madam Chair, John Slagle, Chris Myers from Mental Health, Marty Fannin, Bill Mays, Gerald Earring, Jenna Maneker, Bill Wilkie, Alina Hartley, Don Verdon, and Joe Vaughn from IHR. We usually have a pretty good attendance at these property meetings, seems like. Mr. Verdon gave us we paid a few bills for him, and then he gave us a rundown of all the repairs and stuff that they've done to keep these buildings going, and I'll tell you what, it is quite a list. But one of the main things we had was Chris Myers came from Project Oz. They came to us wanting to lease a space in our building that is under advisement to our state's attorney. She has talked to a friend at no cost to us, we don't want to spend any money, Mr. Blakeman, and we're looking at about $550 a month for an office space, and I think maybe a phone, that type of thing. The need has been shown that in Livingston County with the, some of the Project Oz stuff that they do, we need some more people up here to assist with that. So we had that motion, and it passed unanimous with us. The other part we have is sale of excess properties. Now, we have some concrete pavers, some are full, 2-inch thick, 2 foot by 2 foot, and executive director is going to put them up for sale for us. We made that motion, it passed through us. I think we will have to have a motion here, which I guess we will do, but we also had 7 vehicles, but we're going to try to get rid of them through the leasing company, is that correct?
Possibly, we're holding on
Possibly.
those.
So that's kind of on sale, or on hold. So we've got the excess property we need to sell, and the Project Oz, which is going to be under advisement through our state's attorney, and I don't know if he's had time to look at that, but I'm sure he'll get back to us. Can I just make them in one motion? No?
No.
No. Let's do the first one first, and then I'll tell you about the sublease. So start
Okay.
with the excess property.
So the first one is a motion to sell 112 full-size, 2 foot by 2 foot, 2 inches thick pavers. Then there's 12 pavers that are cut. They're now in the bottom of the Law and Justice Center. So I make that motion.
Okay, is there a second? Linda, any discussion? Bob?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
We imagine it might cost us more to sell these pavers than what they're really worth.
Well, we need to get
But
them
we
out.
have to do it.
We need to get them out of there, and I'm not gonna help you load them, but I'd gladly give them to somebody. That's me personally. But we're gonna try to sell them, and we will not deliver. You'll come and pick them up, whatever. Would you like them?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a bid on them?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose. Yes. Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Pittston,
Yeah.
Blacker,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Bunny,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Gessner, Ritter, Arbogast.
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
and Allen.
Yes.
Hey, big boy, you can come and load them. Whoever buys them, we'll make sure you're there to load them.
Okay, Patrick, you have
Okay.
the second?
Yes, we do. I don't know if Randy has gotten to that yet, if we've got anything from Mr. Blakeman on a lease agreement. Maybe Alina has.
I did speak with Mr. Blakeman, and I also spoke with Chris Meyer today. That lease is not ready to go. It will be a sublease to where it will be the mental health board that enters into that agreement. And so what we would be looking for is a resolution to approve the sublease. Since that hasn't been done yet, it's kind of hard to approve it. But overall, the rental amount is $550 for mental health. Of that, Project Oz will be paying them a portion directly to mental health, and they will continue to pay their full amount to the county. If there's no objection to them moving forward with that, obviously mental health would like to do that. It's kind of hard for a board to approve something that they don't know what they're approving, and that was my indication to her. But I will leave that up to you. We do not have the documents from Mr. Blakeman, who unfortunately is not working pro bono.
Nope. Oh, well, let's do something about that.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I misstated that.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. I
don't
think
spend
that's
any
what was
money we don't
originally
have.
reported.
Yeah.
It was.
So do you want, table that one?
You can table it if you
Table?
Motion to table.
I need a second.
I'll make
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make it, I'll second it.
Mr. Ritter
Okay, so that
seconds
was
to table.
it.
This is a mess.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
We're voting to table it
Okay. Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
If the motion was to table
Table,
it, I'm
yes.
voting yes, because I didn't hear the motion.
Mays,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Pittston,
Yeah.
Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Vieti,
Yes.
Bunning,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yeah.
Manker,
Yes.
Steichen,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bannon,
Yes.
Kestner,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
I have one more item, is we've got a wonderful group on the ad hoc committee. If they would like to speak right now, I would relinquish some of my valuable time and yours. And if not, anybody has any ideas, anything as far as H&E, buildings, properties, make sure you contact the ad hoc committee, please. Thank you.
You have nothing to say, ad hoc?
Nothing?
Gerald? That's done?
We've had one meeting so far. We've looked at several buildings. One was the OK Mart building, I'm gonna tell you that right now, and it's been ruled out by the city of Pontiac because they want it for retailers. There's a building here in town owned by, think of the name here, Opperman? So we're kind of looking at that building. And there's another building that could be used for part of the mental health department. So we're at that situation right now, we're just getting things going.
Okay,
Madam Chair, that's all I have.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Killian.
Thank you.
We are down to administrative committee. The resolution amending community health care referendum, I'm going to pass this on to Elena for her to.
Okay, what you have before you is a resolution to amend the referendums that were previously approved. It only makes a couple of changes. Instead of reading Livingston County Home Health Care Program, it will read Livingston County Community Health Care Program. That's consistent throughout the document. It's to clarify that there are two parts to the program. One is the home health care portion, and the other, home nursing, I should say, and the other one is home services. We are releasing a document. There were some minor changes that came out of admin that still need to be made to that document, but it's an informational sheet that will be posted to our website detailing the, what the program is and what voters will be voting on. It also indicates what the referendum questions are, what the results of the original referendum were, and why we're doing this, what the ultimate cost to the taxpayers are. It's meant to be unbiased and not made to sway the voters in either way, but just to let them know what those referendums are for. So again, this just changes the home health care to community health care. If this doesn't pass, then the prior referendum will move forward as written.
Okay, any questions?
So, Madam Chairman, so there is a plan to educate the people?
Yes, there has been a plan to educate the people, we just had not released it yet.
Okay,
As it gets
thank
closer
you.
to the referendum,
Yes.
then we will, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution. Bunting second. Any other discussion? Mr. Mays?
Home and community, why the change there?
Okay, so, I think there is a little bit of confusion on, when we say home health care. I think people think that that's all home services. And in this particular program, it's not just home services or home health care. It's home services where you're getting like cleaning type services, and we explain to you what that means in the document. This includes homemaking assistance such as housekeeping, laundry, meal preparation and assistance with bathing according to an individualized care plan, and that kind of goes on. On the home nursing side, this is a chronic disease management program for those who do not qualify for home health, but still need some medical assistance. So there's two different types of programs. It's
We're
not
just
just home health.
combining them?
It's a community health care program that encompasses those two items.
Okay, so they were separated before,
They are separated.
and now
and
they're coming together?
No, they're not. They're still remaining separate, and in the informational sheet, we clarify that the county has continued to provide the home nursing services, but it was the home services portion of the program that was eliminated, and should this referendum be approved, that it would be reinstituted. Effective as of December 1, 2020, so that's the 2021 budget.
Okay, it just seems like community seems like everybody, rather.
Yeah, so
than-
in the informational sheet, again, at the very top, we list what the goal of the program is, as well as the eligibility to qualify for the program. And I included that in your packet just so you know what's there, but I still need to make some amendments on the cover sheet, some clarifications, where I need to break down and explain a little bit more what PTEL is and also EAV. So I'll do that before we post that to the website.
Okay, any other discussion?
Can you email that?
It was in your packet?
It was in your email. It was already emailed to you.
All right, if there is no other discussion, I will call for, roll call, please.
Weller,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Mays,
Sure.
Lovell,
Yes.
Pittston, Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Eddie,
Yes.
Bunning,
No.
Slagle,
Sure.
Manker,
Yes.
Dyson,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Bannon,
No.
Kestner,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Arbogast,
Yes.
Berkman,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, just one other thing I have, on the minutes, Alina, you have me down as present and absent on the minutes.
That's impressive.
So I just wanted to point that out.
You're
Okay.
in body, not in mind, is that?
Yeah. We'll move down to Election Rules and Legislation Committee. Vicki Allen will be giving the report since Mr. Carley is not here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met before the board meeting tonight, and we approved the appointment of Kip Harms. We also discussed the county checking out a new credit card company. And Alina, can you do the IACBM thing?
So the Illinois Association of County Board Members has released a request soliciting proposals from counties on possible policy items for their 2020 platform. So these are items that you would want the state to consider as part of possible legislation for 2020. And so the committee just approved submitting a change to the cannabis regulations in regards to the expungement of past records and changing the expungement to more of a sealing of the records to where they don't necessarily go away. They're not visible to the public or to potential employers, but they would still be visible to law enforcement.
Are there any questions? That ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Vicki. Move down to Veterans Assistance Committee, Mr. Kestner.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The Veterans Committee met, was well attended, and the VAC is well within their budget this year. That's my report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kestner. Moving down to IT Committee, again, Vicki Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We reviewed John's monthly report. He indicated that there was a large update to Spillman. He completed a repair on the Keen machine, replacing the motherboard and hard drives. There was an issue with the PRI lines provided by Frontier, which affected the administrative lines for 911. And he is going to be placing the end of the year computer order within the next week or two. He is anticipating purchasing approximately 20 new computers. Department has begun working on the 2020 directory, and he anticipates printing the new books in December. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Vicki. Livingston County Housing Authority, report, Mr. Slagle.
I showed up today, and turns out the meeting is next month. So I will have a much better report for you then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Med Central Community Action, Mr. Wilkie.
Yeah, didn't have a quorum, so we didn't have a meeting last month, and so the next one is in November. That's my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Board of Health, Mr. Station.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Board of Health met September 9th. As all of you may know, Melinda Hillman is retiring. They have chosen her replacement. Jackie Dever is going to replace Melinda as executive director. She was the director of nursing, so that position was temporarily open, and it has been filled by Tondra Harris, a member of her staff. The chairman of the board of Health, Jim Day, is retiring in the end of December, but has agreed to continue his term on the Board of Health. That concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Station. Mental Health Board, Jack Vietti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our next meeting will be a week from tonight at 4 o'clock, and that's my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are down to public comment.
Thank you. I am Dick Haas. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Madam Chair, Vice Chairman Bunning, and both congratulate and welcome new member Barrickman. I want to take this opportunity to also urge you this year, more than in the past, to pay heightened attention to the scrutiny of board and staff member awareness of and responsiveness to your respective duties with respect to financial reporting and internal control. And I urge you to further extrapolate the lessons you will learn by engaging in that process to apply it month to month throughout the rest of next year, which is when it really should be getting everybody's attention, not just at the end of the year and the closing and the external audit. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? I would just like to apologize to Mr. Barrickman after being sworn in. I should have let you make your comments, but you got your comments in, so I apologize for that. Okay. Okay, now I will entertain a motion to go into Executive Session 5 ILCS 120/2 CL pending litigation. Gina Manker and Bill Mays. Roll call, please.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
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 Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Vidstem. Blackford.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Runyon. Yes. Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Beatty. Yes. Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Dyson.
Yes.
Schaefer. Bannon.
Yes.
Kestner. Ritter. Yes. Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman. And Allen.